welcome to Vista Motorhomes and our 6-berth Chausson C646 motorhome. I'm going to show you around the features on the outside of the motorhome and the inside, so you know how everything works and can make the most of your motorhome holiday. You've got two keys for this motorhome. This key operates the cab and the cab doors for the central locking. Everything else is operated with this key here. Here is your gas locker, the main entrance door, and underneath the motorhome you'll find a lever to empty the waste tank. Look for this symbol, and an entrance to the rear garage. This motorhome is diesel. There's a standard diesel filler which you will find here. The motorhome also uses AdBlue. If you get an AdBlue warning light on your dashboard, you'll need to fill with AdBlue using this separate blue filler here. AdBlue is available at most petrol stations, so just unscrew the cap and add the AdBlue here. It's really important that the AdBlue goes only in this blue filler and not in with the diesel. Getting it in with the diesel could cause serious engine damage. If this did accidentally happen, really important, don't start the engine and contact us straight away. This is a vent cover for your gas water heater. In this compartment here, you'll find your trip switches, fuses and battery charger. It's also where you'd fill with water. This is the hookup point where you connect electricity. This is the toilet cassette compartment and also another entrance to your rear garage. This is where you connect to electricity, either on a campsite or at home. You'll find a hookup cable in your garage. Unwind this completely before you use it. There are two different ends. The end without the flap connects to the campsite power supply. The end with the flap connects to the motorhome. Push this in here so it's firmly clicked into place. You would then connect the other end to the electricity supply. To disconnect, push down here and it should easily pull out. If you want to connect at home, you'll also find an adapter in your rear garage. So connect that here and you'll be able to connect to a standard 3-pin socket. This is the compartment where you'll fill with water and where you'll find the fuses. To open it, turn the two locks to horizontal. Push in on both locks until you hear a click and the door will then drop down. To fill with water, pull out this tube here and unscrew the cap on the end. You'll find a hose in this compartment that you can connect to a water supply to fill the tanks with water. There is an indicator on the control panel inside the motorhome that will tell you how full the tanks are. If you need to empty the fresh water tanks, you'll see a brown lever in the bottom of the compartment. It's normally horizontal. Pull it up to vertical, which will start to drain the tanks. They will drain through gravity, but if you turn on the pump, that will do it a little bit faster. On this side are the trip switches, fuse board and battery charger. If you don't have power to the motorhome when you're hooked up, the first thing to check is the trip switches here, that they're in the up on position. If something were to fuse, you can check the fuses here. The circuits are labelled. You'll find spare fuses and also a fuse diagram in the glove compartment, so you can replace the fuse with another fuse of the correct ampage. The battery charger will be in the on position using this button here. There are also instructions on the outside of the door. To close the compartment, push it up till you hear a click and then turn the locks on both sides back to the vertical position. This is the gas locker. To open it, turn the key to horizontal, the handle will pop out. Turn that and you can pull the door open. In here you have a propane or gas cylinder. These are always supplied in the off position for safety. To open it, turn this valve here anti-clockwise, turn that all the way out. There is an arrow on the top and also a label here to remind you which way to turn it. There's also a gauge here that will tell you how much gas you have. To start the flow of gas, you'll also need to push down on the top of this gauge. If you need to replace the gas cylinder during your hire, this can be exchanged for a like-for-like 6 kilo propane cylinder. You can exchange where you see the Calagas symbol. Lots of campsites and petrol stations do this. You should disconnect at the internal connection here using the gas spanner provided. Also undo the holding straps, replace with the new cylinder, reattach with the holding straps, reconnect at the internal connection and tighten with the gas spanner. Everyone's favourite bit, the toilet cassette. This is how you access the toilet cassette. It's the opposite to the other lockers. So turn the key to vertical to unlock, push and open. Inside you'll find your toilet chemical. We'll have put some toilet chemical in when you collect. When the light in the bathroom comes on to tell you that the toilet cassette needs emptying, to remove the cassette, you'll pull up on this orange handle here and the cassette should easily pull out. If it doesn't easily come out, the valve might have been left open inside, so please check this. There's a handle that pulls out and also wheels, so you can pull this to the chemical toilet disposal point that you'll find on most campsites. To empty the toilet cassette when you get to the chemical toilet disposal point, first thing you'll need to do is twist out this orange pipe here and unscrew the grey cap from the end. This orange button here is an air valve that will help the toilet cassette to empty out. When it is empty, you're going to need to give that cassette a swill out. So pull back the flap here, turn this dial. You'll find a hose at the chemical toilet disposal point. So you can give that a good swill out. When it's clean, you'll need to refill with toilet chemical. The toilet chemical is concentrated, so you'll only need about half a cup. So measure that into the cup. You can pour that in straight through the open valve. You'll then need to close that back up. So turn the orange dial to close the valve, push the flap back open, put the grey cap back on and twist in the pipe. Make sure the handle is clicked back into position. Then slide this back into place. You'll see the orange handle will click down in here and show you that it's in exactly the right position. Store your toilet chemical and your cup. The outlet for the waste tank on the motorhome is on the driver's side, just behind the rear wheel. Look for this symbol and then look underneath the motorhome. You will see the grey outlet pipe with a lever above. You'll need a motorhome service point, which you'll find on most campsites, to empty the waste tank. So you would drive over the service point and then pull out this handle. The water flows out of the waste tank and into the drain on the motorhome service point. When it's stopped draining and the tank is empty, push this back in. If you're not on hookup and use the water heater on gas, you'll need to remove this vent cover. There is a bit of a knack to it, so to remove it, push down on the top and pull out at the bottom. Replace it when you're not using the water heater on gas, just push down from the top, click in at the bottom. The rear garage can be accessed from either side. To open it, turn the lock to horizontal, the handle will pop out, rotate it anti-clockwise, top and bottom, and you can open the door. To close it again, push closed. Turn the handle clockwise, turn the lock back to vertical and push in the handle top and bottom.
On the entrance door you've got a fly screen, but you will need to lift up this step mat, then you can just pull the fly screen across. The motorhome has a second battery called a leisure battery, which runs the electrical systems for the living area. This is called your 12-volt system. I'll show you how to operate the control panel to control all the electrical systems. Turn it on by pressing the top left button here. The second button along turns on your 12-volt power system, which runs the lights and pump for your water on the motorhome. This is how you turn on the pump. You can hear it pumping there. You can leave this on whilst you're using water in the motorhome. I'd recommend you turn it off when you leave the motorhome or at night, because the noise of the pump priming might disturb you. This is just an exterior light. You'll see the light here that tells us we are plugged into a power supply. We are called being on electrical hookup. These buttons along the bottom will tell you the condition of various things. First one will tell you the condition of your leisure battery. That, in this case, it's fully charged. This will tell you the condition of your vehicle battery. This will tell you how much water you have in your tank. You can see in this case it's almost empty. And this is just a dimmer for the panel itself, which you might want to make less bright at night. Also, just above the control panel, you have the control for your diesel heater, which is how you heat the motorhome. To turn this on, simply turn the dial right up to maximum. You'll see the light comes on in the centre. Leave it on maximum for about 5 minutes for everything to circulate, and then you can adjust the dial to whatever temperature you want. You do need at least half a tank of diesel to use the diesel heater. This is simply because the takeoff is part way up the tank, so you can't run out of diesel by using the heater. In your kitchen area you've got a hob with 2 gas burners and also an electric ring. Gas burners, make sure your gas is on, and just like as you would normally, there's an igniter here for them. The electric ring is with this switch here on the left. This is a combined oven and grill, so you turn this dial to the left for the oven and ignite as with the grill. You go to the right. Up for off, and when you are grilling, make sure this is pulled out so that you don't melt the knobs on the oven. You have a sink here with swivel tap, storage above, and also below your cutlery drawer pulled out from inside this cupboard. All of the cupboards are locking, so you push these catches to lock for travelling and then unlock by pushing again. And back here you have a good sized fridge freezer. The fridge has a freezer compartment at the top. It will operate on electricity, gas, and also off the vehicle battery, but only when you're driving. To turn it on, press this button here until you see a light at the top. You can operate it on electricity when you're on hookup. That's the easiest thing to do. You'll see this plug symbol here that tells you you're on hookup. You can also operate on battery only when you're driving, so you'll see this is giving me an error message because this will only work to keep your food cool when you're actually driving. And you can also operate on gas, where you see this little flame symbol. When you go on to gas, you should hear a clicking as the gas starts to ignite, and you'll get a green light here to show that it's operating on gas. The easiest mode to actually use is to put it on automatic, which is the A symbol there. That will automatically find the best available power source for you. To adjust the temperature, just adjust up and down with this button here. Recommend you leave it somewhere in the middle. There's a 10 litre boiler in the motorhome to heat hot water. This is operated by switches behind the passenger seat. It can be operated on electricity when you're on hookup, also on gas if you don't have hookup. To turn the water on electricity, central position is off. Turn up for standard temperature 50-degree hot water, centre for off, and down for hotter 70-degree water, and back to the centre for off. So use that if you're on electric hookup. If you are not on hookup, you can use gas to heat the water. That's the switch here. Operates in exactly the same way. What you do have to remember is to have your gas switched on and to remove the vent cover on the outside of the motorhome. When operating on gas, if there is any problem, you'll get a red light to the side of the switch.
In the bathroom,
the sink tap is also your shower. So pull it out and press this spray button here to give you a spray shower, and then just put it in this holder. There's a shower curtain so you don't soak the whole bathroom. Before you start showering, lift up the mat that's on the bathroom floor, and you can put it out here so you've got a mat for when you step out, and then pull the shower curtain around. When you finish showering, you can tie the shower curtain away with this tie back here, and you're also going to put the shower head back into tap mode. So remember to press this button here and then just feed it back into the tap, and it's a normal tap again. The light for the bathroom is just behind the toilet here. The toilet itself has a bowl that can be rotated to get it in the best position. When you're using the toilet, the flush is the blue button on the panel behind the toilet. Press and hold this button to flush the toilet. Unlike your toilet at home, it doesn't have conventional plumbing, so you'll also need to open a valve at the bottom. You push this grey lever to the right to open the valve, and everything will fall through into the cassette below. Don't forget to then pull it back to the left to close the valve, so you don't have smells coming out of the toilet cassette. When the toilet cassette is full, you'll get an indicator light on the panel behind you to let you know to empty it. Motorhome has two 3-pin sockets, one here, usually used for the TV, and also a second one in the kitchen. You can only use the 3-pin sockets when you're plugged in on electric hookup. You also have 12-volt sockets here, and a second one inside the kitchen cupboard. These can be used when you're not hooked up using the leisure battery, but can also be used when you're on hookup as well. Also inside the cupboard you'll find the aerial booster for the TV. Turn it on under here, you'll see the blue light come on, and you should turn that on before trying to tune the TV. The TV is here just above the door. Again, it can run on standard 3-pin when you're on hookup, or can also be run off 12 volts using the adapter here. You'll find your remote controls and power leads for the TV inside the kitchen cupboard. To lock the door from the inside, just press on the silver button and then pull to unlock and open the door. To open the windows, you need to press the small buttons in the centre of the handles, push and turn all the way around, and you'll move that out and it'll find a lock position. To get it back in, push it all the way out and pull back in and close the handles. All of the side windows operate like this. They also come with night blinds. Squeeze these two and pull up to close, and squeeze and pull down again to close. They also have fly screens which pull down and attach to here, and you can pull them up and down together if you want to.
There's a large central skylight.
To open this, flick out this handle and turn clockwise to open, anti-clockwise to close again. When you're closing, make sure that the red indicator comes on here to show you that it's locked, and then flick the handle back into position. Highlight above the bed. If you want to open it, just make sure that this is in the unlocked position. Twist this dial clockwise to open, anti-clockwise to close again. You've also got a fly screw. Squeeze these together and pull over, and also blind again, squeeze together and pull over, and simply squeeze again and pull back to open. The diner area in this motorhome can be extended. So you can extend on this side by just pulling out this section here and dropping in the small cushion extension. On the other side, pull out the section here and drop the larger cushion extension into this gap. To create the back, pull out these two arms here to support the back of this cushion, and then you have your large extended seating area. To pull out the table, pull down the knob underneath the table and swing around the table extension. When you're finished with the extension, push this away, make sure it clicks into position. The diner area makes up into another double bed. The table actually makes up the base of the bed by removing the bottom half of the table leg and resting the table on these supports here. Before you do this, it will be easier if you lift up the seat cushions out of the way on both sides. The table itself is very heavy and needs to be lifted right up to disconnect it from the wall support, so it's a good idea for two people to do this. With the table removed from its support, you can just pull off the bottom section of the leg and then carefully lower this down so that it lines up with the plastic supports, so as not to break them. Get them in line and then just position the table so that it drops level. You can then drop down these seats, which will form part of the bed. You can remove this back cushion at the foot end to create more space. Lift that out of the way. Push both cushions towards the ends, and then you can drop in the spare cushions in the centre. To create a little bit more space at the head end, you can also pull out the seat extension here. Drop in the seat cushion and you have your double bed. In the emergency toolkit, you've got various screwdrivers, pliers, wrenches, also various types of tape. There's also spare batteries for the carbon monoxide detector and TV remote, as well as hookup adapters for the hose in case they don't fit the tap on your campsite. The handbrake is on the right hand side of the driver's seat and is always down. So to put the handbrake on, just pull up as normal, but you'll notice the handbrake will drop back down. To take it off, pull up until you feel some tension, push the button in and drop down to take the handbrake off. You've got full instructions in your handover pack, which also includes your breakdown cover and motor insurance policy. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it can help you to make the most of your motorhome experience.